what's Mr. Fuller talking about?
Well, that's where the word tricks blind people to what is really going on. There never was any such thing as segregation. You can't, if they call segregation, and they'll say racial segregation, and you say, what is that? See, when you start asking questions, that's when you get to the truth, because getting to the truth of anything is to ask enough questions.
Mm-hmm.
So you say, what is segregation? They say, oh, that means separation of, it's just another term for separation, that the non-white people are not they are separated from the white people of the planet. And that's what segregation is. And you say, wait a minute. And then you go out and take a look, and you say, well, how separate is separate? What do you mean by separate? See, you got to ask enough questions. Don't just stop with the answer to the question of what is segregation, and then someone says, oh, segregation means the same thing as separation.
Mm-hmm.
Then you ask the next logical question. What is separation? Say, well, white people and non-white people are not in contact with each other. Then that's when you see that that's not true. What do you mean, no contact? You can't dominate somebody you're not in contact with, either direct or indirect contact. What do you mean by contact? So you ask the third question. Are you in contact with the people that you dominate, either directly or indirectly? That's a logical question.
So if you don't accept the notion of segregation, the term segregation, what about the term integration? Is that also a misnomer?
Sure it is. Both of them. I mean, and we have used these terms on and on because we have been given these terms to use. By whom? By the usual suspects, the white supremacists. That's where we get our terms from. That's why we have to examine all terms and see if they are logical and see if they are true, see if they fit the actual situation. There never was any such thing as segregation in racism or separation in racism. That's impossible. How are you going to dominate people that you have no direct or indirect contact
with them? Yeah.
Yes. See, so these are the terms that need to be examined. That's getting to the word thing, which is what the program is supposed to be about. Segregation, integration. No, none of that. Then you have all other kind of terms, like affirmative action. All actions are affirmative, or they wouldn't be actions. See, and what do they explain? Affirmative action. Or with all deliberate speed. What do you mean by all deliberate speed? I mean,
so what you're saying is that
deliberate.
Right. So what you're saying is that words have been used to mislead, to fool, and to trap people, and to continue a system without the people really understanding what they're doing, and they become the self-perpetuators of it without having any understanding of what's going on. Am I clear about this?
Absolutely. This is why in the front of the book, both books, you will see, if you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will confuse you. The key term here is confuse.
Mm-hmm.
See, you can't dominate people on a long-term basis if they're going to be walking around every day without confusing them. And so you confuse them through your words.
Oh, so confusion is a major strategy of the maintenance of power. Is this what?
Absolutely. Words form the way that people think.
Uh-huh.
And you confuse people by giving them words that will have them thinking the way you want them to think. Now you see it, now you don't. They'll think that they're looking at one thing when they'll be looking at one thing, and they'll be seeing it as something else.
Like the magician's trick.
Yes, like a magician's trick. Optical illusions and whatnot. Can't see the forest for the trees. You're looking for the trees, but you say, I don't see the trees because the forest is in the way. Or I don't see the forest because the trees are in the way. See, it's all a matter of words. And you say, well, the forest and the trees are one and the same. See, but they don't tell you that. See, so you only see what they tell you to see, even when you're looking.
Now, let's walk through. Tell me how a person, when people throw words at you, under the system that we live under, what should be my proper response in order to counter this kind of deception that you've outlined?
Ask a series of questions. Every time words are used that seem to be baffling, and many of them that don't even seem to be baffling, just go ahead and ask your questions anyway. What do you mean by that? And there's another logical procedure in this, in counter-racist codification. Don't help the person with the answer. Don't ask a question and then start trying to answer the question yourself as you are helping them to answer the question. Because that's a trap too. Most people will fall into that trap. Sometimes, and it goes like this, the scenario goes like this. I will ask, well, what do you mean by affirmative action? And then the person will say, oh, you're intelligent. You know what affirmative action is, don't you? See, so they'll go into that type of mode. That might be one of their approaches. And you'll say, well, I think that what you mean is such that, and you say, well, I could mean that. And now we get more confusion, see? So you don't, once you ask the question, you say, oh, I have some ideas about what it could mean. But I'm asking you, what do you mean when you say it, because you said it? And stick with it. Don't help the person with the answer. Once you start trying to help them with the answer, then they will direct you into greater confusion.
Neely, how can they get in touch with you to get a copy of your book? By the way, the books that I'm talking about are entitled The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, and his newest book is entitled The Compensatory Counter-Racist Codified Word Guide. If I want to get a copy of this book, how do I get a copy of both of the books?
You can call 202-484-5461, or some people have told me that they have put it themselves, taken the initiative to put it themselves on the internet, and you can get it through, I think, several. Punch up Neely Fuller's name and whatnot, and you'll get an order form.
We've got about 30 seconds left. So if you want to get a copy of Neely Fuller's book, you can call area code 202-484-5461. 202-484-5461. Neely, closing comments. Go ahead, quickly. Got about 30 seconds.
I would say most people should study, all people really, should study the words that they use and listen very carefully to the words that all other people use, whether they're white or non-white, and get in the habit of asking the person what the person means when they use certain words that may or may not be baffling to you or not very clear, because you got to have clarity and focus.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you, Mr. Neely Fuller. This is Khari, seen exclusively on Insight. Thank you for watching.